Hey folks, Larson Halleck here. Are you a fan of Larson Halleck and the Barbaric Gentleman? Of course you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. Would you like to help the channel grow? Would you like to help me out? If so, here's how you can. You can go to patreon.com/LarsonHalleck and join the ranks of these illustrious heroes. You can also go to www.paypal.me/LarsonHalleck to also donate some money. You can also buy my book. The Patreon, the PayPal, and the link to my book are all found in the video description. You can also follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. I no longer advertise my Gab because Gab sucks. And if you support me enough, I'm going to make Larson Halleck, the motion picture, in which you will get to enjoy a riveting 4 hours of me and my friends playing grab ass in a public park. All I need is $90,000 to do it. And now, our scheduled programming. Hey folks, Larson Halleck here with a rant about a few of my recurring topics, namely Asian sex bullshit and the film industry. I recently got into a bit of a Twitter spat with this guy, who is of the "you can't be racist against white people because of privilege" nonsense. In one of his Twitter posts, he mentions the assumptions that are laid upon him for being an Asian man, and wouldn't you know it, they're things like roboticness, lack of attractiveness, and docility. Things that keep him from being seen as an ideal sexual partner, in other words. Oh, and as a complete coincidence, I found out the other day that the government of Myanmar has at various points banned recitations of Kipling's poem Mandalay. If you don't believe me by now, let me reiterate. Every single social justice complaint Asians have either boils down to we're seen as unsexual or we're seen as sexual in a demeaning manner. But hey, I know that's a problem, and if you read my first book, you would know that I am very much a proponent of the idea that there would be literally nothing to complain about, racial identity politics-wise, if Asian men on the whole were seen as more sexually attractive. And of course, the media is often blamed for this problem, and I've always felt that there's a lot of truth to that. Look at how 90% of Asian dudes in American media are either heavily accented mincing fruits wearing bowl cuts or are outright gay. And this is an example of things being better back in the day, because when I was a wee pup, there were crap loads of martial arts movies being made featuring the Asian man as a muscular, shirtless ass kicker, and you don't really see that anymore. So keeping this in mind, I get asked a lot how this can be remedied, if there's some kind of silver bullet, and I think there is. I think they should make Fu Manchu movies again. If there are any Asians watching this video, your anus probably just clamped shut tight enough to cut cigars. But yes, I am a fan of Sax Rohmer's greatest creation, and I do think that this would solve everything. Hear me out. What do you know about the Fu Manchu character? You might know him as merely the archetypical yellow peril caricature, the walking embodiment of the sinister Chinaman. But you don't really know the character, and I don't blame you. Nobody under the age of 90 does, except for me, which says a lot about my mindset. Let me give you a proper introduction to the mad genius, the Devil Doctor. Fu Manchu is a man who holds 3 doctorates. He is cold, confident, and utterly determined to seize the world in his grasp. He is brutal and violent, but also refined, sophisticated, and honorable in his own way. Many of his schemes have a villainous, predatory sexuality about them.
Did you send for me, my father?
My daughter. Explain to this gentleman the rewards that might be his. Point out to him the delights of our lovely country, the promise of our beautiful women. Even my daughter.
So let's review. Hyper-intelligent, sophisticated, confident, tall, dark, exotic, wealthy, competent supervillain with a predatory, malevolent sexuality. The character is often cited as an offensive stereotype, but the second that movie hit theaters, you would not believe how furiously women all across America would be masturbating. There would be a snail trail from sea to shining sea. I mean, we all remember that 50 Shades nonsense, right? Fu Manchu, portrayed and written well, played by an actual Asian person, of course, could be Christian Grey on steroids and MSG. Now, is that what Sax Rohmer intended? No, of course not. Women at the turn of the century weren't oyster harvesting to villains because society wasn't completely terrible back then. But this is 2019. Women are celebrated for making really bad decisions, in general, but sexually especially, and I think they would go for this. Some women, at least. And to counter the Asian social justice nonsense about Fu Manchu being a negative stereotype, Just tell organized Asianness that women would be madly turned on and furiously masturbating to an overtly Asian man. They would shut up immediately. License to print money. I think this would work, and it's not like anybody else has any better ideas. Hey guys, let's hire another flamboyant Asian homosexual. Yay for representation. Hey, Marvel Studios, you're making that Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu movie, right? Might I recommend using the guy who was Shang-Chi's arch-enemy for the first 110 issues? The same arch-enemy who was also the father of Shang-Chi, and sired Shang-Chi in a racially tinged eugenics experiment to be the ultimate warrior? I reiterate, hyper-competent supervillain seizes unassuming, delicate flower of a woman and takes her to sire his child forcefully.
Sploosh.
I'm Larson Halleck. Get on it, Hollywood. Here's a word from our sponsor. Hello, my friend. Are you frustrated with the machinations of Western women? It's not your fault, it's theirs. So what can be done? Try some Eastern European women, straight from the FSU to you, ready to be swept off their dainty little feet. I mean, what else is she gonna do? Go out with some guy wearing a tracksuit? If you're interested, go to simplydating.com using the affiliate link provided in the video description. Sign up today, and remember, the more services you purchase, the closer you'll be to finding her. Go forth and find your little Diev.